Well, my favorite book I had to think long and hard about because it's been a while since my children were very young. So I called my 23-year-old last night and said, John, what do you remember the favorite book that, we love to read? And he said, well, Mom, of course, it's The Polar Express, which is very appropriate for this time of the year. And it's a good story for children, but it also has a great story for adults. Back to the Future. Ooh, is my favorite series of movies. I cannot tell you how many times I have watched these movies with Michael J. Fox. I think he's a great actor and the storylines are just hilarious. And so it's a good series that's very lighthearted and it just goes through the different periods of history. And it's funny to watch when these movies were made and as how society now kind of has changed and what they thought modern day society was going to look like in these videos. But it's a great series. Yes, I did. And I still love to dance. When I was 5, my sister, my cousin, and I started ballet lessons. We would be able to walk to the studio in Baltimore, Maryland, and I continued to take ballet lessons until the age of 16. We usually had 1 or 2 major productions during the year, but my most favorite one was The Nutcracker. And I had a solo part in Waltz of the Flowers. Wow. Well, my father started his political career probably when I was in high school. He was an attorney, but he also worked for the governor of Maryland at one point in his career, and then decided to run for office on the state level for the House of Delegates, 41st District. So we were very involved in his career, campaigning for him. I was very surprised that my mother continued in his footsteps, and she was actually in the legislature for the state of Maryland for 16 years. So it gave me a good idea of what it's like to be a politician and how your family can be under the microscope. But it made me aware, and my family, I think, aware of just generally things that are happening around the world. It gave us just a better understanding of things. This picture is a picture of my family. My oldest was not able to be there, but my husband, my youngest son, this is my mother, my brother, and my sister. But this is the main person that's important in this picture. This is my mother's sister who turned 100. She is now 103. So she's still here on the earth with us, but we went to church with her and had a huge birthday party for her. So the significance of this is family and how very important my immediate family and my extended family is to me. It could be very heartbreaking at times, but for the most part, I so much enjoyed working with the babies and the families. And people have always asked me, how can you do that? Well, you do have to, in a way, separate yourself from the emotional part of it to some extent, because then you wouldn't be able to do your job. So I had to look at it from the standpoint that I'm helping these babies get better and get well. And it was so rewarding to see them grow and change and the families become more comfortable and caring for them. It was great. My oldest son had a nurse practitioner as his primary care physician 27 years ago. I was so impressed with the role of a nurse practitioner, how much time they spent with me as a new mother, even though I was already a registered nurse. But I just felt that, boy, this is something that I would just love to do, you know, starting off hopefully seeing the infants and then watching them grow up and developing this relationship with the families. And so I've had this goal since he was born. Just was not able to complete this goal until recently, and I think the main reason was because I wanted to raise my children, and my focus needed to be on them, making sure that they were healthy and completed their schooling. So they were my number one priority until they were out of the home. Interacting with the children. They say the funniest things sometimes. And now that I've been here a year, people are asking to come back to see me, which is a great feeling. And I think by far my most favorite age is the 5-year-olds. They can hold a conversation with you about anything. They're so engaging, they're so delightful. It is absolutely wonderful. And, you know, just also developing a rapport and a trust and a relationship with the families now that I've been here for a while and have seen people several times. I think that is the thing that I most enjoy.